Notice, in accordance with new copyright regulations, this episode of Quoth the Raven is intended for ages 16 and up. While sometimes the content we will feature is kid friendly, the context of an episode is to address adults and inform them of said content for them to research as consumers in service of their youth. In other words, parents, grandparents, aunts and uncles, teachers, librarians, etc. There is a possibility of adult language present on the episode as well, rated TV 16 and up. Hello, hello, everyone. Welcome once again to another edition of Quoth the Raven, newest Bright Raven. I'm your host, Lewis Bright Raven, 29-year veteran writer, illustrator, and editor in comic books, science fiction, fantasy, horror, and role-playing games. Tonight is Friday, June 11th, 2021. It's usually our Friday night genre talk, and we're going to have a short episode this week. We're going to be reviewing a TV series called The Discovery of Witches, based on a trilogy of books by author Deborah Harkness. So let's go ahead and get into that. And this is season one. Just watched most of it on DVD earlier today. I didn't watch the whole season, didn't have time. I kind of fell asleep, had a long, didn't sleep last night, so I was up all day and just kind of couldn't sit through the 6-7 hours of it in a binge. Mark Andrew Smith asks, "Where is the birthday boy, John Norris?" John's out having dinner with his parents. He left town to go see his parents and have a family get together for his birthday. That's why he was on last night for Thursday night for the short birthday bash celebration, because he was not going to be available today. Anyway, Discovery of Witches, season one, produced by Eduardo Ferretti. Executive producers Deborah Harkness, Jane Tranter, Ashley Farrow, and Julie Gardner. Directed by Juan Carlos Medino, Alice Troughton, and Sarah Walker. Starring Teresa Palmer, Matthew Goode, Edward Blumo, Louise Brealey, Malin Busca, Aisha Hart, Owen Teal, Alex Kingston, Valerie Pettiford, Trevor Even, and Lindsay Duncan. The genre is supernatural / romance / horror. Running time is 45 minutes per episode. Production companies are Bad Wolf, Sky UK, and Sky Studios. Distributors for this season one was Sky Vision, but NBC Universal takes over international distribution for season two. I have not seen season two yet. I just watched 5 out of the 6 episodes, I think, before I fell asleep. So I still have one episode to watch, but I got a general gist of what's going on. That's what matters. So let's go ahead and move along with it. What it's about. Diana Bishop, that's a character played by Teresa Palmer, is a historian and reluctant witch. Unexpectedly, she discovers a bewitched manuscript, or book rather, in Oxford's Bodleian Library. This discovery forces her back into the world of magic in order to unreveal the secrets it holds about magical beings. She is offered help by a mysterious geneticist and vampire, Matthew Claremont. Despite a long-held mistrust between witches and vampires, they form an alliance and set out to protect the book and solve the mysteries hidden within while dodging threats from the creature world. As the story progresses, Diana learns about her own heritage. Her parents were murdered when she was a child, and she was raised by her aunts. And the powers that she has inherited as a witch, powers that until now she had mostly denied and had not trained herself properly in the use of or for. Powers that she desperately needs to learn and control, as other witches and warlocks, demons, vampires, and other creatures will do anything to get their hands on the Book of Ashmole 782, as it is believed it tells of the origins of all species, and whomever possesses it could rule the world it's supposed to be with an iron fist. Anyway, this includes vampire Matthew Claremont, geneticist and supernatural historian in his own right. He believes the books hold The book holds the key to explaining why magical creatures are dying off in the world, including his own kind, who have lost the ability to sire new vampires. In the process, he falls in love with Bishop, and they have a complicated relationship, to say the least. Not only because of the historical avarice vampires and witches have towards one another, which is a semi-clever metaphorical representation of racism more than anything else, but because of the physical danger he puts them both in, as he has a craving to feed upon her that he must constantly repress. Also hunting the book is Peter Knox, a warlock who was a member of the Congregation, a secret cabal of witches, vampires, and demons who ruled the underworld in a reluctant stalemate. He believes the Book of Ashmole 782 contains spells that will uncreate demons and vampires and other unsavory creatures and allow witches to rule the world unchecked. He also has a history of Diana's parents, particularly her mother, one involving dark magics and a broken relationship between him and her mother, and this may or may not have led to the deaths of Diana's parents. My thoughts are, the story is based upon a trilogy of books by Deborah Harkness, which I haven't read, but based so far on the show, I probably don't want to read the books. The premise is somewhat silly, and vampires make no logical sense whatsoever in this book or in this story, and do not exhibit any of the traditional weaknesses or nuances of the race. Vampires, Claremont, most notably since he's the co-lead, openly walk around in daylight, no ill effect. He's seen in a church holding rosary beads, no ill effect. Just all these things that, just don't, it was like, why call them vampires if none of the weaknesses that are vampires are supposed to have hold true to the characters in this book or in this story? They're not vampires or something else. I don't know what they are, but anyway, you're not really vampires. Sorry. The Congregation Cabal is meh. Kind of a, it's pretty generic, I guess. Once you realize it's not all witches in the group and that there are other questionable elements about the group and its origins, I, for one, lost interest in it being the secret enemy that's going to take out our heroine. Now, despite all the story being kind of silly and questionable in the way it was developed, and I have to blame Harkness for this as the source material, I will say that the cast, from what I've seen, and again, I haven't watched the entirety of season 1 this yet, just the first four and a half to 5 episodes of the 6 episodes. I think there's 7 or 8 total in this. I don't know, but anyway, the cast is really strong, and they're committed to their characters, and there is a sense of earnestness and believability to it in terms of the performances. I remember Teresa Palmer from her other roles in the past, and in this role of Diana Bishop, she really seems to have grown into herself, as a woman and as an actress. Very comfortable performance with range and nuance that I did not remember her for in previous roles. Whether that's just her maturing into a woman and being more confident in herself as she's gotten older, or is just honed a better refinement of her craft, I can't say, but she does carry the show fairly well as the lead character. Much stronger performance than her work in films like Warm Bodies or I Am Number 4, which is largely what I'd remembered her for. Unfortunately, the rest of the cast is pretty much unknown to me, other than Alex Kingston, who plays one of Diana's aunts in America, who only makes sporadic guest appearances here and there. I don't know if the ants make more appearances later in season 1 that I haven't seen yet, or if they're more focal in the following season, but it seems like a waste to have an actress of Kingston's caliber barely on the screen. I mean, she was amazing as River Song in Doctor Who and as Elizabeth Corday in ER, and it's like, to have her in, 2 minutes of an episode and not in every episode is like, why you're kind of wasting. I mean, I know she can't be cheap to have her on the cast, so you're kind of wasting her in a way. He's going to do something with his character. But maybe when I finish the season, I can see where they leave the season finale cliffhanger, I'll change my mind about some of this stuff. I don't know. But so far, it's pretty much just an iffy story with some really strong quality acting. Matthew Goode, who plays Claremont, the vampire, is strong in his performance as well. He has good chemistry with Palmer in terms of they know how to play the reluctance of what they're trying to say because they're not supposed to be together as a couple. But he already knows he craves her, wants to feed on her, and she comes around to respecting him and caring about him as well and stuff. So it works the way it's supposed to. And he has also a good relationship with another character who's a demon that's like his conscience, if you will, which is kind of an odd thing to have a demon as your conscience, but okay. They do that okay. The actor who plays that character, I can't remember his name right now, forgive me. Their relationship and interplay between Goode and that on the other actor is solid as well. Mm-hmm. It is rated TVMA, and I gave it 3.5 stars. Yeah, Love River Song from Doctor Who. Yeah, that's Alex. You know, like I said, that's Alex Kingston. You know how good an actor she is. If you love that character and you've seen her, you know what she can do. Like I said, I give it 3.5 stars. Like I said, the premise of the story is really silly, but as far as the actual performance and the presentation, it's slightly above average. An average is 3, so I give it 3.5. I don't know if I'll follow it after finishing up this season. I don't know if I'm going to look for season 2 or anything like that. I kind of doubt it. There's just so much content out there for me to watch that unless something is really grabbing me, I'm probably not going to go further with it. But if you happen to be able to download it off of BBC or find it somewhere on the downloadable networks, I don't know what Netflix or Amazon or any of these other ones have, to whether or not you can download it or not. It might be worth your time. I don't know. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I can't say don't check it out by any means. It's certainly there's better things to watch, but it's not something that I would say is a waste of your time either. So there you go. And that's kind of it for tonight, unfortunately. I know it's a short episode. I've been kind of busy this week with a lot of other things going on. My computer's been causing me some issues. I've been trying to get it. I've got the virus off of it, finally, but I got to purge a bunch of extra files off of it, junk files and stuff, and it's taken a lot longer than I thought it would. Because it's not just getting rid of the junk files, it's basically filing all the files I've got. As an artist, I have a giant collection of art files from other artists and other subject matters, so I can always go and look something up. And a lot of people don't do that anymore. They go ahead and they do just a Google search for something. I don't do that because if I Google search, I'll take forever. I'll just be looking for the proper thing. Whereas if I have a file on something, I tend to go with what's in my file already instead of going hunting. And so I make files for that reason on my computer, and it takes up a lot of memory space on there. And I have to look at the stuff I've already used, delete that. I have to look at the stuff and say, okay, am I going to use this? If I'm going to use it, what am I going to use it for? Et cetera. And I have to purge not the unusable, but the stuff that I've already used and the stuff that I'm not going to likely use. I have to get rid of that and free up some memory space on the computer. So I've been doing that, and so it's been taking a lot of extra time this week that I wasn't expecting. So that is the show for tonight. Tomorrow we will have live draw, and that will be at 1 p.m. Eastern. And I'll be drawing, finishing up the redraw on the Brainiac piece that I showed. This was the original. As you can see, the headpiece is off center, and one side's lower than the other and stuff like that, and I didn't like that. So I went ahead and redid it and changed some other things on it as well. So that's what we'll be doing tomorrow, is that and some additional work as well, possibly some sketch cards. That's another thing I'm doing with the computers. I'm trying to get the files ready for that so that I can have them all set up and printed out on paper. For those of you who don't know how I make my sketch cards, I print them on the same paper as I do the 8.5 by 11s with a pattern, and then I cut them up as individuals after I've drawn on them. So that's how that works. It's on 80-pound cardstock, or 100-pound cardstock, pardon me. 80% brightness or something like that. But anyway, so that's what I'll be doing tomorrow starting at 1 p.m. So thanks for watching, and we'll see you guys next week, or actually tomorrow. But let me get this silly thing reset. My computer's being, like I said, my computer's been kind of funky lately. Once I got that virus, it should be easier to do things, but okay. If you have questions for me, you can reach me at lewis.brightraven on Facebook, on Twitter at lewisbrightrave2. You can see some of my artwork at deviantart.com/brightraven. You're watching Quoth the Raven, Lewis Brightraven on YouTube. You can email me at quoththeravenlbr@gmail.com with questions or commission requests or stuff like that. And if I don't contact you back from that email address, try lewisbrightraven@yahoo.com. On Mondays, we do comics news and reviews. Wednesdays, what did you get this week? Thursday night is usually a roundtable talk discussion. Next week, I'm hoping to get some people to discuss a topic that was on the professionals last night about inking and the lack. Is the craft dying, and can you make a living at it anymore, just as an inker, etc. Hopefully, I'm going to be able to get some inkers other than. I want to get some people who actually know what they're talking about, but we'll see. And then Friday night is our genre horror night, and I've been meaning to do a film called Fast Color, and I just hadn't I watched part of the DVD, but I didn't watch the whole movie yet, so I have to do that. That'll be next week, is Fast Color, and probably some other stuff as well. So that'll be next week schedule. And then live draws again is usually on Saturdays and sometimes on Sundays as well. And it'll be at 1 p.m. Eastern time tomorrow. So I'll see you guys next time. Thanks for watching. We'll see you again later.